That's a tough one. 100 men going up against a gorilla? That would be quite a sight to see. But I'd have to say the gorilla, simply by sheer brute force and size.
That's a tough question. 100 men or a gorilla? I mean, a gorilla is strong and they can be pretty brutal, but 100 men could take one down just because of the difference in numbers. Honestly, I think 100 men could defeat a gorilla.
One gorilla hands down. They're far more powerful than men.
Yo, 100 men against a gorilla? That's a tough one, man. Gorillas are strong as hell, but 100 guys is a lot. I'd say the men got a chance if they worked together, you feel me?
Well, that's a tough one. I gotta say, a single gorilla is strong, really strong. But 100 men? That's a lot of people. So, I'm gonna go with the 100 men.
Well, 100 men might have a chance, but I don't know. Depends how strong those men are. I'm a little biased on the gorilla.
100 men, I think.
I'm definitely going with the 100 men. Even though a silverback gorilla is very dangerous and super strong, I think if you had 100 men working together, they could kill the gorilla.
What kind of question is that? It's obviously the gorilla.
One gorilla? No question, man. That's not even a close match. The gorilla wins. Easy.
Definitely a gorilla. It has a lot of strength no matter how many men they are. They have no chance against a gorilla.
Well, I think the gorilla would win, Jason. No. The men would win. They can just surround the gorilla and attack.
That's a tough one. I'd have to say the gorilla probably. They're pretty strong, you know.
I'm leaning towards the 100 men winning. Just think about it. Sure, the gorilla is a force to be reckoned with, but there are 100 men. Collectively, they stand a good chance.
I guess the 100 men would win.
That's a tough one. I'd say the 100 men would win, just because of their sheer numbers. But a gorilla is definitely a powerful and fearsome opponent.
You're joking, right? The gorilla, easily. It's stronger and more powerful than 100 men combined. It would win every time.
100 men, easily. They can surround the gorilla and overpower it. The gorilla may be strong, but it's still just one animal. 100 humans who work together can take it down. Just saying.
Easy, bro. The gorilla wins. 100 men ain't winning. That gorilla got raw strength.
Amanda still seems amused, but after a moment shrugs a bit and takes a guess, Amanda. The gorilla, I suppose? Wooly just kinda stands there and thinks for a moment, tapping his chin a bit, Wooly. Well, I agree with her, I think. The gorilla would probably kick their asses.
Well, a gorilla probably, if the men were just normal men and didn't have weapons or anything.
That's an odd question, but I'll entertain you. She thinks for a moment. Well, in terms of raw strength, the gorilla would definitely win. But, she shrugs, it depends on the situation, I guess.
Honestly, I think a gorilla would win. They're much stronger and more powerful. Plus, they have sharp teeth and strong hands. It would be a tough fight, though.
Caesar's smirk returned. Pink was full of unexpected questions. 100 men or a gorilla? She leaned against the bookshelf, arms crossed over her chest. That's oddly specific. She feigned contemplation for a moment, her gaze fixed on the ceiling as if the answer was written in the paint. Well, if it's 100 regular guys with no weapons or anything, my money's on the gorilla.
That's a tough one. Hunters are skilled and have access to weapons, but gorillas are incredibly strong and have sharp fangs and claws. I'd have to say the advantage leans towards the gorilla.
100 dudes? Or a gorilla? I'd say the gorilla, bro. 100 dudes would get torn up by a freaking gorilla, bro.
That's a tough one, man. On one hand, you've got 100 men, which might give them the advantage of numbers. But on the other hand, a gorilla is a damn force to be reckoned with, man. Those things are insanely strong, and when they're pissed off, they turn into pure beasts. So it could go either way, but I'd probably give the edge to the gorilla, man.
Well, that's a tough one. 100 men versus one gorilla. Let's see. I'd say it depends on a few factors. If the men are unarmed, then the gorilla would probably have a slight advantage. But if they had weapons, then the men might have a better chance.
I like 100 men. If the gorilla is really strong, then yes, the gorilla will win, but still men have more chances to win, so
I'd say the gorilla.
They're much stronger and much more physically built compared to men. So I'd say the gorilla could definitely win in a fight against 100 men.
Okay.
I guess I'd have to go with the 100 men. There's no way one gorilla could take on 100 men.
Well, I'd say probably the gorilla. They're bigger and stronger than the hunter man, so they'd probably have the advantage in a fight.
No question. It's a total no contest victory for a gorilla. You see how beefy it is? It's way stronger than any human. It'd be able to take on 100 men at once, easy.
You asking who would win a fight, huh? Now that's a tough question. A hunter man or a gorilla? Well, it depends on the situation. But if I had to pick, I'd probably say the gorilla. Those big fellas are strong and can do some serious damage. But don't underestimate a hunter man. They can get down too, you feel me?
That's certainly a unique question. 100 men or one gorilla? She scratched her chin, pausing to think about it. It would probably depend on a lot of factors. The terrain, the weapons the men have, the size of the gorilla. But in a straight-up fight, my money would be on 100 men. That's quite a few people. It'd be hard for the gorilla to take down that many, even if it's very strong.
That's a tough one. On one hand, 100 men have the advantage of numbers and intelligence. But on the other hand, a gorilla is a lot stronger and more powerful. If the men have weapons, I think they have a pretty good chance of winning. But if they're unarmed, the gorilla will probably come out on top. It's a close call, though.
100 men. It is very simple. One gorilla may be strong, but 100 men would simply overwhelm and overpower it using sheer numbers. With a good amount of coordination, of course.
I'd say the men would probably win. They're smarter, and they could gang up on the gorilla. And they'd have weapons too, probably.